Hey, it's Elizabeth if you're new here. I'm a nutritionist and mom of 4, and today we're gonna make life a little bit easier by doing some healthy breakfast meal prep.
Now that we're back to homeschool, our mornings are just a bit more structured than they were before, and so it can be really tempting just to pull out a not very healthy breakfast when we're short on time. So today I'm gonna get ahead and make sure that we have some healthy options to put together quickly. So I'm just starting by preheating my air fryer to 425 so that when I'm done preparing the vegetables, they can go straight in. I use my air fryer every day and I absolutely love it. So I'll link mine down below, and the measurements for the recipes will be in the description box as well. So the first breakfast I'm prepping today are roasted peppers, squash, and sausage breakfast bowls. So I have peppers, onions, and butternut squash that I'm cutting into nice bite-sized pieces. You just want to make sure you scrape out the seeds on the squash and any of the soggy strands, but if you don't like squash, you could easily substitute this with sweet potatoes or Brussels sprouts, broccoli, any kind of vegetable will work here. I like to switch it up for whatever's just in season at the time. So the easiest way to cut up the butternut squash is to make long slices first, and then I go back and just make big chunks out of it. And you just want to make sure that they'll roast in a pretty quick amount of time because the bell peppers will be done. So I like to cut everything kind of in similar sizes so that they'll cook at similar times. Then I put it on my baking sheet lined with parchment paper for easy cleanup. I'm going to be adding some of my favorite simple spices to it and a drizzle of avocado oil so our veggies get nice and roasted. I really like to use this kielbasa brand. They also have some bigger sausages that are 100% grass-fed and organic, so I usually have those, but I thought I'd give these breakfast ones a try. So either way, you could just use regular sausage or kielbasa for this. Just make sure that it's good quality. So here I'm just doing a little salt, pepper, paprika, and garlic powder. This gives every veggie a good flavor, so I like to do this all the time on pretty much everything that I cook. Then I just like to rub it with my hand to make sure the oils and the spices are all over the vegetables and that everything has the right amount of flavor, and then into the air fryer at 425 for about 20 minutes. So while that's in the oven, I'm actually going to make some boiled eggs in my Instant Pot. This is one of my favorite ways to use it. So all I do is put the trivet in and add about 1 cup of water in the bottom, and then I like to add just a little splash of vinegar to help the eggs peel more easily, and then I'll set it on high pressure for about 5 minutes, and then you'll let it naturally release for 5 minutes, and then cool it in water for 5 minutes, so 5-5-5. And these eggs are going to go in our breakfast bowls as well. Next, we're gonna get started on our breakfast wraps. So for this, I'm just adding a little bit of grass-fed butter to a skillet, and then I'm going to crack in about 6 eggs, and I'm just gonna kind of scramble them up a little bit, and then I'm not gonna touch them. I'm actually just going to let them set in the pan, and this is kind of like an omelet hack. It's like an omelet texture without having to do the whole omelet situation. I thought this little egg was so cute. We get our eggs from my mom's chickens, and this one was so tiny compared to the normal size egg. I think it's like a particular kind of chicken, but my little heart just loved it. So once your eggs have cooked through all the way, I just kind of portion them out into how many wraps I want to make and just leave them kind of like in long chunks so that they fit really nicely into the wraps. Then I just do the same thing. I add a little bit of butter to my skillet that I cook the eggs in, and then I just drop in a few handfuls of spinach and just let it cook down for just a second, and then we'll pull that off and we'll assemble our wraps. So these breakfast wraps remind me of the ones you can get at Starbucks, but they're honestly even better and healthier because you use the whole egg, not just the white. So I just have some wraps, some sun-dried tomatoes, a block of feta, and I'm going to crumble that up. And we have our spinach and our eggs that we cooked on the stove. So now to assemble it, I'm laying my tortillas out and adding in the toppings. So for ease of rolling these up, I like to start with my eggs as the base, and then next I'll do the spinach and then the feta and the sun-dried tomatoes. I like to make sure that the bigger things are on the bottom and then the kind of loose things are on the top. Next, you're going to want to roll them up burrito style, and this did not go as planned. So when I started to fold the wraps, they basically just fell apart, so I ended up using sprouted whole grain wraps instead of the grain-free wrap. So I recommend using like a sprouted wrap or a gluten-free wrap, but maybe not the grain-free ones because they really don't hold up well enough. So I basically just transferred my fillings over to these wraps and they worked out just fine, so I'll definitely stick to these from now on. If you guys have tried any grain-free wraps and you like them, I'd love to hear your suggestions because I can't find any that hold up to actually wrapping. So next I'm just putting this in my glass storage containers and letting them cool all the way before storing them in the fridge. That's really important when you're doing meal prep. You have to make sure everything cools. And so I'm just going to put the lid on this and then I'll pop it in the fridge. After my veggies and sausages and eggs were done and ready to go, I'm just gonna put them into individual sized storage bowls. That way it's easy to grab and we can store any of the extra vegetables and sausages in the fridge to add to another meal. So I like doing meal prep, but some weeks I honestly just prep a few different ingredients, either like vegetables or meats, sauces, salad dressings, and that works for me too. Meal prep does not have to be complicated. It can be as simple as boiling eggs, pre-cooking some bacon, and washing some berries. So again, I just let this cool all the way and then pop the lids on and into the fridge. So next we're going to be making our own apple pie spice oat mix. They also call this muesli, and it couldn't be more simple, but I like to do it this way because I can make it my own and use quality ingredients. So the first thing you're going to want to add to a jar is 2 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats, preferably organic, and then half a cup of pecans, half a cup of sliced almonds. You could substitute any nuts you want to use here, but those are 2 of my favorites. And then I'm also going to sprinkle in a couple tablespoons of hemp hearts, which if you don't like hemp hearts, you could also do chia seeds. That would add a little bit of protein and extra fiber. And I also add about a 1/4 cup of raisins just for a little bit of sweetness. Next, I'm adding in half a teaspoon of apple pie spice. You could also make this apple pie spice by yourself, but I just happen to have this, so I'm going to use it today. And then a little pinch of pink salt. And then all you'll do is shake it up, and that's it. You can use it for a regular pot of oatmeal or add milk and yogurt and put it in the fridge overnight to make like Bircher muesli or overnight oats, basically. And of course, since it's fall time, I can't forget about coffee, and I'm trying my best to avoid the sugary and artificial flavors of fall by making my own maple cinnamon coffee creamer. So to start, I'm heating 1 pint of grass milk half and half over low heat, and then I just added 1 cinnamon stick. And I'm gonna let the cinnamon infuse into the warm milk for about 20 minutes. And you can use cream or non-dairy milk as well. Both of those will work. You make it the same way. And then after that, I just added in a tablespoon or 2 of maple syrup and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract and stir that together. I just removed the cinnamon stick and added it to a glass jar for storage. It smelled so amazing, so I immediately had to make myself a cup of coffee, and it was just perfect. I hope you guys enjoyed today's breakfast meal prep video for fall, and I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.